All right, I'd like to welcome everybody to my webinar, and my name's Lisa, and hopefully this will help a few yous out along the way. And usually, like most of my webinars, I like to get you students involved instead of just listening to me droning on about something. So for every question I ask, please take a minute and give everybody a chance first to think about it or to write down an answer before you start typing it in here, okay? So just, wait a few seconds before you start typing it in, all right? So anyway, I tried to pick the most common errors that I've been seeing, okay? So anyway, let's start with the first one. Thyroid, slightly firm without discrete mass or nodule. Now, is this correct? Is it everything correct in this sentence or incorrect? Trish says incorrect. Carrie says it needs a colon. Victoria, incorrect, discrete. That's right, exactly. It's incorrect. It doesn't need a colon or anything like that. It's because this is the correct way, discrete. This kind of discrete means reserved in one speech or behavior, where this discrete means separate or individually distinct, as in discrete mass. You'll hear that quite often in the physical exam section. Okay, so is everybody clear on that? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. The patient was sent to gastroenterology for investigation of abdominal cramps. Would you say this is correct or incorrect? And like I said, give everybody a few seconds to think about it. Trish is correct. Sandra, incorrect. Correct. 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 Okay, well, let's see if it's correct or not. It is correct. You capitalize when referring to the department, okay? And you can refer to the account specifics. It has it in that. And it also has it in BOSS 7.3.4. So you can check it out either way. But just remember, first and foremost, you always follow your account specifics first before your book of style, because that will always trump the book of style rules. So I just gave you both, but just always keep that in mind. So remember that. It is correct. Capitalize when referring to the department. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, the patient was seen in the emergency department because of her chest pain. Is this correct or incorrect? Trish is incorrect. Catherine, incorrect, incorrect. Melissa, okay, everybody is saying, oh, incorrect. Should be lowercase emergency department. Incorrect, no capitals. That's right, and this is probably, that's right, it's incorrect. Do not capitalize when it is non-specific. And this is probably where a lot of students are getting mixed up with the one I showed before compared to this one. Okay, so for example, the patient was seen in the emergency department because of chest pain. That's non-specific, okay, because the emergency department could be anywhere. But if they said the patient was seen in the Toronto General Emergency Department because of chest pain, well, then that would be capitalized because it's specific. So I know it can get a little confusing, but see, if they would have said the patient was seen in the oh, I don't know, well, it's like this one here. The patient was sent to gastroenterology. When it's referring to the department, it's okay to capitalize it. Okay, but if they say the word, that's your key thing. If they actually say the word department or clinic or something like that without giving the actual name of that department or clinic, then it isn't capitalized because it's non-specific. And you can check that out in your account specifics or BOSS 734. Is everybody clear on that? Because let's see, because Carol, the other one, it could be gastroenterology in any hospital. Like, which hospital is it? It's non-specific. Do you understand the difference? When they say seen in the ER, is that? Yes, when you use the abbreviation like that, it's always, the abbreviated form is always capitalized. I get it now, thanks. Sure, no problem. If you can substitute the doctor in for the word and it still makes sense, then capital. Wise. Thanks, Erica. Great. Yes, now, okay, is the second example. It says the emergency room. So it would be the doctor, nonsense, lowercase. Okay, Erica's giving you some tips there. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. Okay, the pain meds BID for 2 weeks. Is this correct or incorrect? And like I said, everybody give a second there before you start throwing out answers. Give everybody a second to think about it. Incorrect, incorrect, incorrect. Okay, everybody agrees that it's incorrect. Oh, incorrect should be non-capital. That is right. It's incorrect. Correct, it would be the pain meds BID for 2 weeks. So remember, use lowercase abbreviations with periods for Latin abbreviations. Okay, it's just like NPO or PO or any of those. And if you're not sure, just refer to the book of style 9.2.2. All right. And that way there you'll know, if you're not sure, you'll know that whether it's lowercase or uppercase. And with lowercase, you always use periods after each letter. Now I notice too a lot of times that this last period, some students don't put that in, but you have to put it in. Or I've seen some put, maybe this part here would be a new sentence, so they'll put 2 periods there. Well, you don't, you just put the 1. Okay, so any questions on that? Everybody clear on that? Yes, that's what BID means, is twice a day, but you have to go by verbatim. If they say BID, then that's exactly how you type it. If they say twice a day, then that's how you type it, twice a day. No, Victoria, not an acceptable variation. Remember the verbatim rule in your account specifics. If they say twice a day, type twice a day. If they say BID, then that's what you put. All right. Any other questions on that? Everybody clear? Okay, moving on. All the patients' EKGs were normal. Is this correct or incorrect? Incorrect, incorrect, incorrect. Let's see. You're kidding, it says all entire audience. Incorrect. Well, it looks like I think all yous have it right by looks of things. So that's great. That's right, it's incorrect. The correct way would be all the patients' EKGs were normal. Just remember, use apostrophe S for lowercase abbreviations or plural single abbreviations such as capital K apostrophe S. But when they're uppercase, you never use the apostrophe S, only if it's a single abbreviation, okay? And you can refer to BOSS 9.2.3 if you're unsure. All right, everybody clear on that one? It sounds like you are, seems, or most use anyway. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, which of the following abbreviations that are not on the dangerous list? And you have lots to choose from here. So remember, which of the following abbreviations are not on the dangerous list? So everybody take a minute and let everybody think about it before you start spouting out some answers, okay? So Holly's saying CC is not on the dangerous list. NPO, NPO, Q-Day, Q-Day. Okay, we have a few mixtures here. Okay, so there's actually two. E and F are not on the dangerous abbreviation list. That's Q-Day and NPO. Now, a lot of students get it mixed up. They think Q-Day is dangerous, and it isn't, okay? Now, QD, that is on the dangerous list, abbreviation list. You should type daily. HS is on the dangerous list, so you put nightly or half strength, depending on the content of the sentence. So if he says the patient takes his lisinopril HS, well, you know, it's nightly or every HS or however he wants to put it, you know. And QHS, also dangerous abbreviation. CC is a dangerous abbreviation. Always put ML when they dictate CC. Okay, and DC, another dangerous abbreviation. Always type discontinue. And you can refer to the account specifics, which will refer you to BOSS 9.3.1. All right, now some of you had half it right, like you just said this and it didn't say this one, or vice versa, or whatever. So everybody clear? On that? Okay, so just remember, if you're not sure, instead of just putting it down there, just 9.3.1, check it out. And you'll see if it is, and if so, it'll tell you what you should type in its place. All right. Okay, let's try this one. HCT stands for hydrochlorothiazide. True or false? False, false, true, false, true. So we kind of have a mixture. True and false, true. Okay. The answer is false. HCT stands for hydrocortisone. Okay, and HCTZ stands for hydrochlorothiazide. And this is why these are on the dangerous abbreviation list, because as you can see, it can certainly be, you know, one could be misunderstood for the other. So it's always a good idea. You have to type it out so there's no mistaking which one that the doctor is actually referring to. So see how easily these two drugs could be mistaken for the other. So refer to BOSS 9.3.2 on that one. What is included in the trade name? Yeah, that's right. That's the only time you would use one of those is if it's actually a trade name. But if you're talking, if they're just saying those by itself, then you have to type out each medication. Okay. Is everybody clear on that? Anybody have any questions on that one? No. Alrighty. Okay, so which of the following assessment is performed after the birth of an infant? Is it APCAR, all capped, or APCAR, or both are acceptable? We got all capped, and not capped, and all capped. Okay. Well, looks like most everybody has that right. Its APCAR is an assessment of a newborn's condition where when it's all capped, it refers to a family assessment, not the newborns. So you can refer to BOSS 19.2.1 and it'll show you the difference, show you what APCAR means and when it's all capped. Okay, let's see here. Okay, the next one. A discectomy refers to the eye. True or false? False, 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 true, false, 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 true, true. So we're kind of on the fence on it. It seems like kind of a 50-50 kind of deal here from what I'm seeing. Okay, it's actually true. DISC refers to the eye, okay, where DISK refers to the vertebrae. Now there's two places in the Book of Style that you can reference this, and that's 18.2.2 or 20.1. Okay. I use the trick you see with the eye. Yeah, that's a good trick. Everybody read what Erica put. She uses the trick you see with your eye. And Joy put it as well. Okay. Yeah, I notice a lot of people get this confused. So That's why I threw that one in there. Okay, let's see. Which is correct? A, the patient has Alzheimer's disease. B, the patient has Alzheimer's disease. Oh, Heather's saying Stedman is wrong in this then. Well, Heather, talking about this and stuff, it's just now it's preferred that now, and it'll vary depending on where you go and what company you're working for and what account. Now, some hospitals, it could be interchangeable. They may not care which way you use it, whether you spell it with a C or a K. But the trend is now, for most places, they want the C used as an I and the K when it's referred to your vertebrae. So, but at one time, you could use either or. So if that answers your question, I hope. Okay, Trish says the patient has Alzheimer's disease. She's saying B, unless you're saying B. And who said A? Courtney said A. And B, A. Oh, there's a couple A's there. Anyway, it's actually B, the patient has Alzheimer's disease, or the patient has Alzheimer's. Okay, usually if the word disease, that's kind of your tip off. If that's dictated, then you drop the apostrophe S. Okay, and if they don't say the word disease, then you keep the apostrophe S. So you can refer to the account specifics on that on your eponyms. You look in on the eponym section in your account specifics, and it'll explain that. And also you can see in BOSS 8.2.7 as well. Okay, is everybody clear on that one? So just kind of remember, if disease is dictated, drop the apostrophe S. And if it is dictated, or if it isn't dictated, sorry, then keep the apostrophe S. Sandra, that actually popped into my head. Drop the S if disease is mentioned. Must be learning. Yeah, that's right, Sandra, you are. Definitely. Okay, let's see. That's the next one. The patient takes his medication 2 times a day. Okay, so, oh, what did I do? Oh, I gotta stop hitting my buttons. Oh, here we go. Patient takes his medication 2 times a day. Would you type it? The patient takes his medication 2x a day. The patient takes his medication 2 times a day, or are both ways acceptable? Okay, Nancy says B, Victoria says A, Andrea B, Carrie B, Sonia B, 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 and both ways are acceptable. A, B. Okay, so we have not sure and some A's, B's, and a couple of C's. Okay. The correct answer is B, the patient takes his medication 2 times a day. Okay, so just remember, when the word times is dictated after the number, write out the word times. you only, if they say times 2, or if the word times comes before the number, then you would use the X. If they say times afterwards, then you have to spell out the word times. And you can refer to this in your account specifics. And I know a lot of students get a little confused on that, because it certainly can be confusing, but just remember that if the word times comes after the number, type out the word times. If it comes before a number, then use your X. And 2, make sure when you put the X in, yeah, let me go back to that. I'll say that that X is here instead of back there. Do not leave a space. Do not put X space 2. Put them together, no spaces. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's right, Jennifer. That is correct. Okay, the patient received 4 liters of oxygen. Is this correct or incorrect? It's an example of the X being before the number. I showed you an example just a second here. Didn't I? Oh, maybe I didn't. Okay, well, that you can say the patient takes his medication times 2, or like this is a good one too. Treat it with liquid nitrogen times 15. See that? It doesn't matter what they're saying. Anything that they say times and there's a number involved, if the times is dictated before the number, then you put X. If they say a number and then times whatever, then you spell out times. Okay, correct and incorrect, and abbreviation, that there's no space. No. Erica, would it be X2 or 2X? No, it has to be X2. Never type 2X. Always spell out the word times if it's dictated after the number. All right. Times 2 would be multiplied by 2. 2 times would be do it twice. So, okay, maybe I should ask this question or the next one again. Is everybody clear on this one? Anybody not clear on it? Because I can explain it again, you know, if you're not sure. Erica, okay. So let's say it's dictated, the patient has to change his bandages times 2 every day. Okay, you would put X2 every day because the word times was dictated before the number. Okay, now if they said the patient changes his bandages 2 times a day, then you would put 2, spell out the word times a day. So just remember, your key thing to remember is where they're dictating the word times. If they dictate the word times before the number, then you would put X2 if it comes before the number. If they say 2 times whatever, then you would write out the word times. Okay? And you can refer to your account specifics as well. It talks about it in there and shows you and gives you a couple examples. So, you know, if you forget or you start getting confused again about it, just check out your account specifics. All right? Okay, so the patient received 4 liters of oxygen. Some said yes, some said it was correct, and all the rest of it. So let's see. It's incorrect. There should not be a space between 4 and L when referring to oxygen. So the correct is the patient received 4 liters of oxygen. You don't leave a space, but that only applies if they're talking about oxygen. And you can check that out in your book of style 23.2.2, and it'll explain that you only format it this way or transcribe it this way when it refers to oxygen. If they said the patient received 4 liters of saline, then there would be a space. No, that's just, don't worry about it. It's not supposed to be. That's just how my program was putting it. You don't put it in subscript. Is there a reason for what? Danita, I'm not sure. Danita, what is your question? Is there a reason for this? For what? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Is oxygen the only one where there is no space? That is correct. And if you check out 23.2.2, it'll tell you that. Why oxygen is different? I don't know. That's just the rules. That's the way it is. It gives you some explanation. Let's see here. Let me just check for you and see if it says anything in particular. Let's see. Okay, it just says liters of oxygen. While the general rule for using numeric values with metric units dictates the use of a space between the numeric value and the unit of measure, it is common and preferred that the space be omitted when referring to liters of oxygen. Okay, it doesn't, that's about all it says. For some reason, it's in the industry out there, it's preferred to have no space when they're talking when it comes to oxygen. Well, the general for using. Oh, well, there you go. That's what I just read. See, that's, yeah. So, I mean, I'm not sure why. It's just the way the industry, the rule they came up with. So, yeah, that's why. It's a gas. But any liquids, like I said before, any liquids, you would leave a space. So if they said, you know, a patient received 4 liters of saline, then it would be 4 space L of saline. There's no air in between. Okay. All right, let's see what else we have here for you. Which is correct? Birth weight was 8 pounds 4 ounces. Birth weight was 8 pounds 4 ounces this way, or birth weight was 8 pounds, 4 ounces. Or maybe it could be more than one. So I'm saying B, 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 B. Oh, somebody said C. And C, okay. A and B. All right. B is the correct one. Birth weight 8 pounds 4 ounces. Do not abbreviate non-metric units of measure to express weight and etc. You can refer to BOSS 9.1.1, and you never separate, you never put a comma here between them either. It'll show you that in the BOSS reference. So never, for non-metric units of measure, do not abbreviate, okay? And when you're talking about birth weight, you don't separate the two. You don't put a comma in there. And like I said, you can check out BOSS 9.1.1. I know commas, right, Denise? Too many commas, not enough, too many. Gwen, show example using kg. Well, you would just say, okay, birth weight is 36 kg. Yeah, that's all you do is just, and if you're not sure how you format kg, look in chapter 12 in your book of style, and it shows you how to abbreviate different things. The key thing here, people, is make sure you're always following your account specifics, and whatever you don't find in there, if you're not sure of, your book of style is really like your Bible after your account specifics. Like you can find, they have like 3 chapters in there that just pertain to anything with numbers in it, like 10, 11, and 12, for example. Or if it's something like this, then go to the specialty chapter, like OBGYN. If it's, if you're talking about, well, this is in chapter 9, but if you went to OBGYN chapter as well, it would show you that. So the big thing about is just research and go everywhere you can to find the answer. And whenever you're incorrect about something, definitely make notes and whatnot, and then eventually it'll all be like so clear to you that it's second nature after a while. Nat, commas are a pain, but I was listening to one of these webinars and the instructor said when it comes to commas, her rule of thumb was less is more. Ever since then, I have gotten better at them. Maybe that will help you too. There you go. If it is dictated kilograms, do you use the whole word or abbreviation? No, if, well, they'll always usually say kilograms. Very seldom will they say like 40, 38 kg. Sometimes they will, but the trick on that is if there is a number dictated, then you always use the abbreviated form of this. Okay, even like, for example, if they said the incision was 2 centimeters away from the heart, well, then you would put 2 and then cm. But if they said the incision was a few, FEW, centimeters from the heart, where there wasn't a number dictated, you would type out centimeters. Well, you only, if there's a number, Melissa, if there's a number dictated, then you would use your abbreviations. They do the baby weight in grams, that's right. So there's only one weight. A comma, fat boys for a nor, but, or yet so. What? If the words following can stand alone, a comma is needed. If they can't, no comma is needed. Nancy, that's a good question. If you get a chance, can you review when someone dictates the patient is 3 9/12 of a year old male? Yeah, if I have time after this, definitely. I can get through these slides first. Okay, so is the sentence below correct or incorrect? 58-year-old male was seen in follow-up today. Incorrect, correct, correct, incorrect, incorrect, wrong. So we're kind of on the fence here. Okay. All right. Okay. It is incorrect. Do not start a sentence with an Arabic number. Okay. So a correct way would just be add a 58-year-old male, or this 58-year-old male, whichever, and refer to the account specifics in BOSS 10.3.1. Exceptions is dates that stand alone, or if they said, for example, estimated blood loss, say that was a heading, and then they said 30 ml, it's okay to put 30 ml, okay? Or if they said date's a heading, and then they give a date underneath it, that's fine too. But other than that, as far as, you know, sentences like this, you never start a sentence with an Arabic number. Spell out the number one at the start of a sentence. That's right, and you can too. Instead of adding you can type out 58-year-old, like type out the number 58 is acceptable as well. I don't know why, ladies, we're not talking about follow-up and all this. Remember, this is a webinar, and it isn't a Q&A session. Okay, so I have to get through these slides first, and then, you know, if we have time afterwards, then we can, and if not, then on Fridays on the Q&A session, then you can bring up anything that wasn't addressed here. All right, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, I'm just trying to address the most common you know, errors, transcribing errors that we've been encountering. So Okay, so Sonia, will it become wrong when graded if you added before? Oh no, it wouldn't be wrong, no. No, because according to the account specifics, that's what you have to do. You have to put or spell out 58. So thank you. So getting the hang of things. Sure, no problem. Okay, let's see what else here. Okay, so which examples is /r hyphenated correctly? A, 1-O nylon, B, O-nylon, C, 5 French catheter. A. Well, looks like I have a smart group here. Well, let's see. That's right, A. 1-0 nylon is correctly formatted. So the correct way for O nylon, it should be 0 no hyphen nylon, okay? Or for the correct way for C would be 5 hyphen French oh, ignore that, I misspelled catheter, sorry, with the hyphen. So refer to BOSS 10.3.12. And that shows you, you know, your sutures and catheters and whatnot, and so you'd know whether to use a hyphen or not. Okay? So was everybody clear on that one? 5.5 French catheter. I don't know if there is a 5.5 French catheter, but if there was, yeah, you'd still put the hyphen. But Sandra, did you just make that up? Okay. Yeah, no. You'd still put in the hyphen. All right. Okay, so is the sentence below transcribed correctly, yes or no? In the emergency room, the patient experienced chest pain. Got you, thanks. No. Yes, somebody said yes. Okay, so there's a couple of yeses and the biggest majority saying no. That's right, it's no. A short introductory element is less than 5 words, so really it'd be like 4 or under. That answers the question when, where, why, how often, so no comma is needed. So the correct way would be in the emergency room, the patient experienced chest pain with no comma. And the BOSS reference for that would be 6.2.4 for anybody that wants to check that out. All right. Okay, let's see here. Is the sentence below transcribed correctly? The patient came in for a flu shot and decided to have tetanus at the same time. Everybody is saying no. Oh, we have a few yeses, couple yeses, few no's. Okay, impressive. A lot of you knew that. So it's incorrect. Flu should be capitalized because it's referring to the vaccine. So the correct way would be the patient came in for a flu shot, capitalized, and decided to have tetanus at the same time. And the BOSS reference to that is 19.2.2. It'll tell you any time that it refers to the vaccine, you would always capitalize. But if they said something like the patient had, oh, what example could I use? Let's see here. Oh, my mind's going blank. Sorry, people. Anyway, if they use like the flu or tetanus or hepatitis or anything like that, then if it refers to the vaccine, if they're talking about the patient, received that type of vaccine, then you would capitalize it. If not, then you just wouldn't. So if they said, well, the patient has hepatitis, blah, 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 well, they're not referring to the vaccine, so therefore you wouldn't capitalize hepatitis. Shouldn't they say a tetanus shot? Nope, they don't have to say shot. No, because they said shot here. So the patient came in for a flu shot and decided to have tetanus at the same time. Well, if they're having a flu shot, then they're having a tetanus shot as well. That's where, kind of critical thinking comes into play. Because a lot of times the doctors don't, throw in all the words that they probably should throw in there. So that's when you gotta use your own critical thinking. Patient had the flu and came in for no. Yeah, that's right. Who is this? Kara. Amy Hamill came in for a flu shot so they would not get the flu. Yeah, that's right. That's why my tetanus has cap T, referring to vaccine. Yeah, that's right, Sharon. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, that's right, Caitlin. Good point. People rarely go in to get tetanus, the disease. Yeah, that's right. Let's see here. Okay. Formatting the physical exam / objective section. Should it be stacked or paragraph format? Correct or incorrect? On exam today, patient is alert oriented ×2, blood pressure 120/80, pulse 78, respiratory. Anyway, it's in a paragraph format, as you can see. Whoops, sorry. Oh, I keep hitting my button. So, everybody have a chance to look that over. Carrie saying stacked, Tricia saying stacked, Kim saying incorrect, so stacked, should be stacked. If dictated as sentences, paragraph form, if point form. That looks like, oh, we had somebody said correct. No. Okay, so it's incorrect. It should be stacked, not paragraph format, because of the subheadings. So it should actually appear like this. On exam today, patient is alert, oriented ×2, and then you put your vitals on the next line. The lungs are clear to auscultation, and see, this is, you have subheadings. So if you have even just one subheading in this section, then you have to stack everything. And you can refer to the account specifics. It tells you that. It shows you examples of that as well. So everybody clear on that? No, you won't see it both ways. You'll only see it formatted in a paragraph format if there isn't any subheadings. But if there's subheadings, then it's stacked. Okay. Okay, is this correctly formatted? Yes or no? Diagnosis: 1. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. Who thinks that's correct? Yes, Gwen, you would stack that if where it has subheadings. Victoria says no. Sharon, no. Is there a number 2? No. No, Heather, there isn't. Denise is saying yes. Okay, so we have a couple of yeses there. Actually, it's no. Do not number when there's only one diagnosis, even if it is dictated. And that don't just apply to diagnosis. That applies whether it's assessment or medications or whatever. If they say number 1, blah, 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 if there isn't a number 2, then don't put number 1. Because, and you can refer to the account specifics, because it's not recommended, and even the boss, it's in there as well, that, you know, when they say 1, then it applies or implies that there's a number 2, or should be a number 2 or whatever. So anyway, so never number if there's just 1, even if dictated. Okay, I think mostly everybody got that right. What if there's a subscript for the diagnosis? Do we number then? Well, no, well, that's a good question. Yeah, I guess you would have to, but usually most times if they have subscripts and stuff, there's usually more than 1 anyway. And make sure too, when it's more than 1, you change that to an E. That's plural. Yeah, but make sure problem list, now there's a good point, Melissa. Problem list is not the same as diagnosis. So people do not make that mistake. Not the same thing. However, the rules still apply that if there's only 1, you know, then you don't number. Okay, running out of time here. Which are punctuated correctly? I wanted to get this in here because I know a lot of students get this wrong or confused about it. Can everybody see that? Read that? Blood pressure is 120/80, comma, pulse is 78, comma, temp is 36.9, comma, respiratory is 16. B, blood pressure 120/80, comma, pulse 78, comma, temp 36.9, comma, respiratory 16. Blood pressure 120/80, period, pulse 78, period, temp 36.9, period, respiratory 16, period. And then we have BP 120/80, comma, P 78, comma, T 36.9, comma, R 16. and then blood pressure is 120/80, period, pulse 78, comma, temp 36.9, comma, respiratory 16. So which are punctuated correctly? So I'm saying A should have period. So which are punctuated correctly? So I'm saying B and C, B and E. They're confused about A and C, B and C. Okay. So the correctly punctuated are B, C, D, and E. Okay. A is the only one that isn't punctuated correctly. And the reason being is because blood pressure is 120/80. That is a sentence. So there should be a period here. Now, after every one of them, see how they're all dictated as sentences? Blood pressure is 120/80. Pulse is 78. Temp is. So those should all have periods. So there should be periods separating the vital signs because they were dictated as sentences. Correct would be blood pressure is, like I said, period, and you would just have periods. And you can refer to the account specifics for examples. And all those other ones are correct. Like here, that's correct, or you can use periods. This one's correct because this part here was dictated as a sentence and the other ones weren't, so you can have a mixture like that. So is everybody, can I please see slide 40 again quickly? Yep, right there. Sure. We can just put, no, Carrie, you can't. If they say pulse, you type out pulse. If they say P, then you type P, because some of them will do that. They'll put BP and then they'll say P, whatever, T 36.9 and all that. You have to type verbatim. All right. You're welcome. Okay, another big one, the last one. Second here. Is the sentence below transcribed correctly? The patient doesn't want to take any pain meds. No, 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 no. Okay, everybody's saying no. Okay, great. So I get that a lot. That's right, it's incorrect. The patient does not want to take any pain meds. Refer to the account specifics. Sorry, I can't talk anymore. Only use contractions in a direct quote. So remember that, everybody. If it isn't a direct quote, always expand that. So don't use the contraction. Doesn't, you have to put does not. So I think everybody got that right that was in here. All right, well, that's all I have, and we ran, well, overtime actually. I hope that everybody learned something. I hope I covered a lot of the stuff and made it clear. Oh, you're welcome, Annette and Caitlin and Sandra and Deborah, Carrie. Oh, I'm glad that was incredibly helpful. Marajik, I hope I pronounced it right. And Vivian, Alice. So remember, if I didn't address any of the other questions, just bring it up on Friday at the Q&A, okay? Oh, thank you. You guys are welcome. Have a great rest of the day. Thanks, Sharon. You're welcome, everyone. I'm glad that you all liked it. Oh, thanks, Melissa. You're welcome, Sue, Stacy, Michelle. Thanks so much. Do you teach the Q&A as well? Sometimes, Sonia. We all take turns. So for the Q&A on Fridays. You're welcome, Carol, Kim. Fanboy. I don't know where it's at. Keep the old brain when we see it written. Discuss so much to. Yeah, that's right, Gwen. All right. Bye-bye, everyone.